"Zoroaster," the king pleaded. "Do something!" The sorcerer needed no prompting. He quickly reached within the folds of his robe, and his hand emerged, clutching a fire-red opal. With his eyes closed, he started to recite an invocation. The robed figure hastened its entreaty, offering more wicked promises.
"Make the wish, my king. Anything your heart desires."
"No," the king said.
"My brethren will reward you with pleasures undreamed of by any man."
The king stared into the figure's corrupting eyes. He now saw the beast for what it was, a vile creation who offered nothing but condemnation and corruption.
"Wish,"
the figure said again,
"or your torment will be eternal."
Zoroaster's hands did not remain idle. As the robed figure pressed the king, the sorcerer continued to work his spell. With all the ancient incantations he could summon, the opal soon rose from Zoroaster's palm and hovered a few inches in the air. "Nib Shigrath Bahim! Nib Shigrath Bahim!" he cried over and over, and the opal pulsed with a deep red light. With a snarl, the figure turned from the king and saw the gem in the sorcerer's hand. Its expression turned to shock.
"Impudent worm,"
it said.
"Thief."
The demonic whispers deep in the shadows reached fever pitch, quickly building into screams of pure fury, caused by the intensifying pain resulting from the sorcerer's spell. A pain that had somehow grabbed hold of this robed creature and sent agonies searing through its body. The beast screamed at Zoroaster, its voice booming with hatred.
"Your body will be dust as I feast on the bones of your ancestors."
These words echoed throughout the room, and were soon ripped away from this reality and taken to another. Zoroaster's magic had silenced the evils the figure had wrought, the shapes in the all-consuming darkness, and the figure, all gone from the room in an instant. As a mark of completion, a blinding flash of white light erupted from within the opal, a shockwave of old power. For a brief moment, the light bled into every inch of the palace, across all rooms, extinguishing every shadow, cleansing all unholiness. When the light had dissipated, the flames in the bowls around the throne room were again lit. Though the figure was expelled, its destruction remained. The revelers who had attempted to flee remained all along the long corridor as felled corpses. Zoroaster stared back in pity at their remains. Then, each bubbled into a strange transmuting matter, breaking down their beings into a collective puddle of gore and waste. He smiled, because he knew this was the effect of the corruption being expunged from them, causing each part of their remains to break down and shed the unholiness. When all had separated into pools of decay, at the place where each person had died, a growth impossibly blossomed upward, the last of the effects of the evil fighting to remain in this world. But it was an impossible battle, as the sorcerer's magic had already bested the demon. These growths resembled sculptures of large flowers, and as the swelling slowed, they ossified from blood, bone, and flesh into a solid, bright white stone. In a matter of moments, all along this corridor, the executed remnants now resembled pale orchids from the fields of the inferno, cleansed and pure. The hovering opal, still glowing and pulsing with a fierce red light, dropped back down into Zoroaster's hand. Its illumination slowly faded, until all that remained was a large gemstone. A smile of victory crept over his face, and he lifted the gem up to the light. Staring fixedly upon the object, he saw something deeply troubling within. "What have I done?" said the king, in a weak, deflated voice. Seething internally, Zoroaster chose not to reply. He would ensure that this pretender to the throne would pay for his crimes soon enough. "Zoroaster," the king said, "did you cast it from this land? Are we safe?" "All innocence under the eyes of the Creator can rest easy," the sorcerer replied, as he gazed about the devastation wrought by the presence of the demonic scourge. "For now,